Hello, everyone. This is Meg Benedicte, and I'm excited to be here with you during this next hour and a half. We're going to be diving into some practical steps on how to activate your personal ascension. For those of you who are new to my work, this has been a process that I've been going through personally for the past 20 years. I had a Kundalini activation in the 1994 Northridge earthquake in Los Angeles, and I experienced it similar to like lightning ripping through my energy system. And over the hours after the earthquake, I had a profound download of what we would call a soul walk-in experience. And it was just like veils peeling off my awareness, off my perspective of life, and basically switched tracks, if you can think of like as a train station, switched to a new timeline. And it was pointed directly to 2012 and the ascension that's happening on the planet now. And it changed completely my direction in life, and immediately started wanting to do energy healing with no training, really no understanding of it actually. It came through intuitively. And so this is what I've been on a journey for the past 20 years, is experiencing it myself, going through the process myself, using the quantum vortex in my own ascension process, and then teaching this to others. It's basically my soul service is to bring this to the planet and be able to share this with everyone so that they can begin to apply it in their own personal ascension process. So what we're going to do today is go through, I prepared a couple slides that go into a little more detail of some of the steps that I've gone through and that I help others go through as well. And then we'll take some questions, and I want to leave at least 15 minutes if we can at the end, so I can actually work with you remotely and walk you through the steps using the quantum vortex, so you'll be able to experience it personally and have it demonstrated, and then we'll finish up. Okay, so let's go to just set a couple steps here I listed out that I've had to go through, and this is what comes up all the time in my private sessions with clients and also in group healings. Some of the practical steps we need to do to elevate ourselves up from three-dimensional duality into the fifth dimension of what we call unity consciousness. We need to increase our energy frequency. We need to unite the left and right brain into coherence, and in a sense using both left and right brain simultaneously, like in one mind. We need to balance and neutralize polarity where it's running in our body, in our energy field. We need to bring more soul presence into the heart center. I found when I first started working with clients, when I would connect to their soul presence, it wasn't even in their body. It was up in the aura. It was they're hanging up in their mind, and the soul wasn't in the chakra pillar. It wasn't in the body. And this is huge. We need to be able to start to reunite the soul with the human self. We need to attune to our soul's harmonic sound waves. Our soul is made of light and sound. And so by bringing the soul in as light and attuning our body to our soul harmonic sound waves, we begin to get free of the matrix of duality. We start to create an inner still point of power. That's not an easy thing to do in this chaotic world. And so we'll practice that as well. And I think probably to me, the two of the most challenging steps in this process is increasing our energy frequency and learning how to master the negative ego thoughts and emotions. That is definitely not easy and challenging, and so we're going to talk about that as well. And then finally, as we're bringing this soul presence more into the heart center, we start to listen inwards now, and not so much to the thinking mind. We start to listen into the heart, and this enhances our sensory ability to pick up guidance and intuition. Okay, so let's talk a little more detail on some of these steps. So this ascension process is basically a stair step flowing up your chakra pillar. And so as we're working our way up, we start down at the root chakra and work our way up. And of course, as you can imagine, we're carrying in our chakra pillar lots of density and inertia and toxic emotional sludge, and so we need to clean that out. We need to open all those chakras up. There's actually 12 chakras. We have these 7 physical chakras that I have here in the image, but we also have 5 astral chakras that are above the crown. So if you can visualize, you literally have this inner channel or chakra pillar where there's 12 chakras, and this is the ascension process, is moving our way up these chakras. Each chakra is correlating to one of the 12 dimensions in our universe. So if you think about it, those lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus, those are the chakras that are connected to the 3 dimensions of the physical world, of the human reality, those lower 3 chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus. And this is where most of the sludge gets really packed in there and stored. And it's not just this lifetime, but it's also our past lives. All of this is carried inside this energy field inside the chakra pillar. So it's very, very challenging, if you can imagine, to be able to stream the light of spirit into these lower 3D chakras because they're so congested with inertia and emotional sludge. So this is where we start to become prisoners in our own bodies and minds due to the density in the chakra pillar and the lockdown of what I call the clockwise gravitational field of time. And this locks in the chakras, and it locks in our DNA coding, it locks in all of our belief systems and diseased patterns, and it locks in that right brain, which is what we need to open up. Okay, so let's go to some more details here. So I'm talking about density, inertia, sludge, and what happens is this actually brings the vibration down and our body starts to get very low as 7 hertz. And we need to raise that back up. We need to get it much higher. So one of the things that I found going through this process is I needed to reverse spin where clockwise gravity was compressing my energy and creating that density. So when we actually get into a counterclockwise spin, this begins to open up and it just kind of lifts that compression off. A clockwise spin is an expanding outward spin. It's radiating our energy outwards. And so when we start to get into the counterclockwise spin, we can actually start to free ourselves from that very dense compression of the clockwise spin of time. So we're going to work on increasing our frequency. We're going to work on opening gravity up, shifting the gravitational field so we can start to unlock our energy and get free of all of this density. We need to also increase our brainwave frequencies above 25 hertz. This goes beyond the level of the ego control. We need to increase our energy frequency to spin our atoms faster. If you think about it, our atoms are little orbs of energy, and we need to spin them counterclockwise as well. This is a right to left motion, so that we're bringing our atoms, our cells, our physical biology into harmonic resonance with the soul vibration. We need to clear out and lighten our body of past pain and trauma. And the heart center is the bridge between the physical body and the soul's energy body. And there's a lot of past wounding that is stored in the heart center. So people ask me all the time, well, how do we bridge from 3D into 5D? It's at the heart center. That is the 4th dimensional bridge. So we're going to be working with that as well in our activation. So we're talking about left and right brain synergy. The path of ascension and soul actualization, it requires neutralizing polarity within our energy body. We need to start to move away from living in the matrix of duality and living in polarity to start to live in unity consciousness, being whole and complete. And so we see examples of polarity manifesting in the ego personality, which exists in the 3D world, and it dominates the left brain thought forms. This ego personality is actually an artificial program of shadow consciousness, and it develops over our lifetime from being in this matrix of duality. Due to polarity, most people are splitting out of the body and they're living in that thinking mind, and this is the lower mental body of the astral plane. The analytical left brain is connected to the particle field of matter, and this is where the ego is dominating. This is the analytical mind. Our intuitive mind is the holographic right brain. This is connected to the virtual particle field of spirit. It's the multidimensional mind. It's where we use our visions and our imagination, where we set our intentions. This is where we get new, inspiration, new insights, new ideas, and this is what we use, the right brain, is to connect to the soul. So we need to use both the left and the right brain together in synergy to ascend into soul union. It's in a sense, it's the merging of the particle field and the anti-particle field, or physical world and the spiritual world. So the first step to breaking free of the ego mind is realizing we are not our minds. The quantum vortex activations that I'm going to walk you through, they enable us to increase our brainwave frequencies higher into beyond the alpha beta brainwaves of the ego. We're going into more of the transcendent gamma ray brainwaves of the egoless state. And this helps us establish more coherence and enhanced entrainment with our higher self, not our ego self. Okay, so we are also talking about not only are we syncing up left-right brain, bringing it into a coherent mind, we're also wanting to clear this polarity out of our body. And I use the infinity figure 8 sacred geometry to do this. In order to evolve into living as co-creators, we need to eliminate all polarity from our body, hearts, and minds. We need to become more neutral and balanced and non-attached to past obsessions or future expectations. This is where the brilliance of Eckhart Tolle, if you haven't read his books, they are profoundly brilliant in teaching us how to start to live in the now moment. When we live in the now moment, we actually are moving out of time, and we are moving out of the ego state. So this is, again, one of the easiest ways to start to bypass the ego control, is to train yourself to live in the now. We want to weed out all internal opposition and inner battles going on between the opposite forces. So this is called the victim-persecutor cycle. And we start to remove these polarized mental patterns of right and wrong thinking and start to convert the opposing forces of masculine and feminine, yin yang, light, shadow, positive, negative, into harmonious coexistence. The fifth dimension is in unity consciousness. So the fifth dimension is where we all coexist in harmony and no opposition, no battle going on. It's a neutral field of coexistence. And so that's what we're training our energy to be able to live in, that state of harmony and coexistence. But the problem is the ego prevents this. It holds on to attachments. It gets very rigid and stuck. And the ego is very addicted to the polarized charge of drama and conflict. It loves the conflict, and we're trying to neutralize that and be able to get beyond the conflict. The quantum vortex that we're going to use in our demonstration, this establishes a neutral still point of balanced coherence in the heart center, in our own chakra pillar. And this way then it opens a portal to the quantum field of all that is. So let's talk about the vortex and how we're going to be using this technique. This is a universal tool for evolutionary ascension that was revealed to me in 1997, and I've been using it ever since. It originates from the Metatron lineage, which is what my soul originates from. And it utilizes the sacred geometry, the phi sound harmonics, and crystal technology. What we're tapping into here is the ancient Zeptepi mystery schools in Egypt and the Essenes. This is the ancient knowledge that has been passed down through the centuries. It's a universal template of creation. So the question is, how do we tap into this source of life force and creation and abundant benefits? I was guided to work with Metatron's cube, which you see here in the image. The ancient teachings claim that this sacred symbol of Metatron's cube originated from the highest archangel of the Kabbalah, Lord Metatron. And this is who I work with 24/7 in doing this work. As seen in alchemy, Metatron's cube depicts a container or template of creational geometry and the electromagnetic nature of Genesis in our universe. And so you're going to see here the inner 6 circles and the outer 6 circles, and then the center 13th circle. So we have what is representing the 12 around 1. The 12 is a sacred number corresponding to the 12 dimensions of our universe. And you see 12 around 1 is used a lot in our culture, in even our clocks, or even our astrology. So we're going to be tapping into this sacred geometry of 12 around 1, and it is going to open up and create the vortex around your energy field. This Metatron's cube, I'm going to embed it under your feet and in your grounding platform, and it will open and start to swirl 12 pillars around your body that will start to create the vortex momentum. So keep this image in mind. This is what we're going to use when we do the demonstration. Metatron's cube. Now, the study of geometric relationships to sound waves can also be traced back thousands of years to Pythagoras. He discovered that music has healing powers. It harmonizes the out of balance body. Egyptians called matter frozen music. What a great image. And so sound wave harmonics creates biological coherence, and this is what we want to be able to tap into and create in our energy field, biological coherence, where everything is in harmonic resonance. We're also going to be using the phi harmonics. These are the 12 sound waves that connect to the 12 dimensions. When we start to combine them with Metatron's cube, you can begin to create a golden ratio sacred geometry in your own energy field. When the human brain waves synchronize with the universal harmonics, these 12 sound waves of our 12 dimensions in perfect pitch and harmony, we call it the phi golden ratio, the phi harmonics. Then human DNA genetic programming is coded to arrange according to the Platonic solid symmetries. If you look at that image of Metatron's cube, you will begin to see all the different 5 Platonic geometries in Metatron's cube. So we have the option to move away from living in a polarized world of opposing forces and move into the quantum flow and harmonic wave that exists in the 5th dimension. This is happening on the planet now. This is available, and many of us are actively moving into the 5th dimensional energies by utilizing this sacred geometry and the ancient mystery school teaching. We all have a choice. This is not something that is passive. It's not where we're going to just stand on the sidelines and passively wait for the ascension. This is very much a choice for every soul on the planet. It's where we are either going to actively accelerate our personal evolution or not. It is really that simple. And so as people are awakening all around the planet, we have this choice to transition into this parallel 5D Earth or stay in the lower 3D Earth that's in duality. It's all up to us. And so when we begin to work actively in creating this harmonic resonance in our energy field, we can start to move to the quantum level. This is what the 5th dimension is. It's opening up to us the quantum level where we can start to bring in union, particle and antiparticle, masculine and feminine, light and dark. We start to bring all into harmony, into coexistence, into union, and we have now broken free of the matrix of duality. Okay, let's go to the final slide. So Scientists have discovered that when two ether vortexes join their funnel, so it's an upward facing funnel and a downward facing funnel, they actually form what's called a torus vortex, which you see here in the image. It's often compared to like a donut shape. It's spiraling around, and that there's a center point right in the core center. This golden ratio spirals of the torus, they are all spiraling into what's called the 0-point vacuum state in the center of the vortex. This correlates right at our heart center, right above the navel, right into the heart, chest, upper belly. That's where the center of this torus is spiraling. And this also coincides with how the atom is also created. The atom is a spiraling vortex in this toroidal shape. So when outgoing waves from the center of this torus vortex is reflected back from the surface of the sphere at 0 point, what's happening is it's starting to create what's called standing scalar waves right in the center of that torus, right at the heart center, is starting to create standing scalar waves. So from the smallest quanta to the expansive cosmos, everything in our universe is spiraling exactly like this in a toroidal field. And we are starting to activate that in our own energy field. We're using the quantum vortex to do this. This creates the general physics blueprint of all life at the atomic level, at the cosmic level. We see it in our great central sun at the galactic core. Our sun is a spiraling torus, and it's also happening in our biology. So this is the universal template that we are tapping into to get ourselves back into harmony with the universe. Also, this technology provides the mechanics to bend space and time. And that's really what we want. We want to be able to get free of the lockdown of 3D time. We want to be able to unlock the gravitational field, and instead of living in a left brain dominated linear fashion, we want to start to live in a point of all time, no time, where there is no limit of time, where we can go into the past and alter it. We can tap into the future and alter it. We can bring it all together inside us in the now moment. So when we're starting to spin our energy in a vortex, we are beginning to alter the gravitational field and be able to bend space and time. And when we do this, then we are unlocking from the mind control of the matrix of duality. This is literally how we get free. And so when we are letting go of the 3D linear time, we can activate the holographic right brain capacities. And this is what's been missing. Most of us have been dominated in the three-dimensional left brain of the ego, and this keeps us very limited to just the physical world. When we actually start to open up the capacities of the holographic right brain again, then we're able to tap into the quantum field. We're able to use our visions, our intentions, to connect with the world of matter and begin to change our reality. We need that right brain open, and unfortunately the gravitational clockwise spin of time has been locking down the right brain. So when we start to activate the right brain open, we start to get into this natural rhythm of our universe. Our planet spins counterclockwise, our sun spins counterclockwise, our galactic core spins counterclockwise. We want to get into that spiraling rhythm of our universe. We then begin to get back in sync with the natural rhythm of our birthright. We have been, in a sense, isolated on this planet in a clockwise gravitational lockdown of duality. And so we're using our knowledge of quantum physics as well as the ancient knowledge of the mystery schools to be able to liberate ourselves from the lockdown of 3D duality. And in a sense, it's like you are pulling yourself out of a dark web and you're beginning to get out into the open space of light, of open freedom, and be able to live in your own ecosystem. As you look at this image of the torus, This is starting to spiral around your entire aura. It's feeding life force into your body, down your channel, down your chakra pillar, and you are able to then be a self-sustaining ecosystem of your own. When we become independent like this and we are sovereign in our own energy field, and we're literally life supporting ourselves constantly with this funnel coming down the channel at the crown into your body, you are no longer in any way, shape, or form affected by the astral plane and all the battle that's going on out there. We want to get free of that war that's going on between the opposing forces. We want to be in a sense, if you can think about it, if you look at this image, you're starting to create, in a sense, your own ship. You're going to be living in your own ecosystem, your own ship, and you are then free and sovereign. So that's our goal. I've gone through this process myself over the past 20 years, and it is profoundly different to be able to live in your own energy. You're no longer empathing anything from the astral plane. You're able to feed yourself love into your heart, into your energy field day and night. And so you never feel like anything is missing. You don't feel like you're wanting. You don't feel like you're a broken being. You start to actually feel whole again. And to me, this is the process that the whole planet is going through. But there's a group that is ahead of the game who are very awake and aware that this is happening and are able to tap into this knowledge and begin to accelerate our process of crystallizing our own cells and activating the light body Merkaba within this torus so that we are literally transfiguring our own energy. This is the process that many of us have started, and we're here to demonstrate it. We're here to do it and demonstrate it for the human souls who have never gone through it and are not quite awake yet or understanding it yet. We're here to show them the way. And so I welcome all of you to experience this process with me. Before we go ahead and go into the demonstration, just wanted to bring up a screenshot here of my website. You're welcome to go onto my website. It's newearthcentral.com. And there, when you sign up there at the website, you can get a free MP3 download of the Quantum Vortex activation. It'll walk you through the steps. My recordings I've encoded them with the sacred geometry and the energetics to help you through the process. And so I just wanted you to know that this is there for you if you want to work with it. It's basically a life tool. It's not just something you try a couple times and you're done. This is a life tool of working on activating your light body Merkaba, really accelerating your ascension process. For those who really resonate with this, I offer 6-week video webinar training. I have another one coming up here for the Divine Destiny training on November 6th. So you can read more about that as well at the website if there's more that you really want to dive into the ancient knowledge and sacred geometry and the mechanics of doing this ascension process. And then also for those who just want some weekly ascension support, I have a weekly membership that we do live shows every week on Wednesday nights. And I take caller healings and we work with the activations that are happening in the astrology. So they're very real time, working with the astrology activations, because we are in a very powerful period right now going into 2015 with the astrology and the Uranus-Pluto square. This is the 2012 astrology that has activated the ascension on the planet, and it's going through 2015. So we still have a lot coming with that 2012 astrology. So we work with those events every week and do activations as well. So you can read more about the membership at the website. Okay, I can open it up to some questions if anyone has any questions in the chat room, and then we can do the demonstration. that was a lot of information, and no one has any questions. Okay, question from Elena. I always sit. I sit with my feet chakras locked onto earth. The feet chakras operate like magnets. And so what they do is they get you grounding your energy body to the earth's crystal grid. That way then, especially when you're working with vortex energy, if you're not grounded, and I had to learn this the hard way in the first couple years, if you're not grounded and you're spinning your energy field, I had vertigo. I would get up in the morning and I would literally fall on my face because I couldn't hold the spin because I wasn't grounded. So I sit and I have my feet flat on the floor, and that way so then I'm able to run the spin and still ground. You kind of think about it, you are running electrical current through your biocircuits. So it's similar to like putting your finger in an electrical socket. You need to be grounded or you will really short circuit, and we don't want that to happen. So I put my feet on the floor. Every morning I ground my energy body to the 5D crystal grid. This way then I am consciously choosing to anchor my energy field and my reality onto the fifth dimensional grid. The crystal grid runs all around the planet in the sacred geometry of the flower of life configuration, and there's over 150 sacred sites all around the planet on the 5D crystal grid. I'm here, this is why I moved to Mount Shasta from Los Angeles 2 years ago in 2012 to get onto the root chakra of the 5D crystalline grid. This is what Mount Shasta is. And there's some great information on the, I can, you know, I don't have it with me, but I can, if you email to me, I can send you the link to the information about the 5D crystalline grid, and then you can see the list of all the sacred sites all around the planet. What I do is I encourage people to ground with their feet onto Earth, onto Gaia, onto the crystal grid. You're going to use your left brain to physically lock your body onto it, and then you use your right brain to visualize the sacred site that you want to lock your energy to as well. So you don't have to actually be physically living like I did moving to Mount Shasta. You can still lock to Mount Shasta, the root chakra of the grid, or all the other sites around the planet. Now I found that I use the vortex in two ways. One way, and what we're going to do here today, is more of a healing, clearing, activating manner. So it's very active and conscious. The second way I use the vortex meditation is to just feed light into my energetics. It's almost like a fourth meal. I have to do this regularly because we are crystallizing our cellular structure to live on light. If you kind of think of it, it's like photosynthesis. You need to bring light into your body to continue your ascension process, and of course the light's going to increase your frequency as well. So I found that if I go a couple days and I haven't brought light in, I haven't breathed light in, I haven't spun light in, I start to get really low on energy and fatigued, and it's in a sense kind of like my engine's running out of fuel. So I have to consciously breathe light in. So I open up the vortex and spend maybe 15 minutes or so, and I have like a second wind because I just put juice into my energy body. So those are the two ways that I use the method. Great question. Okay, question from Marie. Okay, Marie's question is, so you had this total shift, and did you experience the fifth dimension then, like being transformed totally from not knowing to knowing overnight? It wasn't total. It has been a gradual understanding, and the reason that it has happened is I had to get in and clean out the cobwebs, in a sense, out of my right brain. I had to pull out mind control out of my right brain. I had to get ET implants out of my brain. So in a way, the energetics started to open up that day, and all these downloads are coming in, and I did have a completely new awareness, but I wasn't fully activating the fifth dimension with my whole body yet. It was more of my higher awareness was able to see what was happening there, and in a way that guided me through the steps I needed to do to get my lower body, which is more dense because we're carrying all that sludge in the lower chakras. So I had to work through, and that took years of cleaning out all of the obstruction and emotional trauma and all that was stored in the physical body to be able to get my whole being living in the fifth dimension. I know a lot of people somehow, there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet, and they're saying that when you access the fifth dimension you disappear. This is not how it's been for me. You're not going from one 3D to 5D, you're actually, kind of think about it again, get back to that image of the chakra pillar. You're just opening up more dimensional access. So you're still in the lower 3D, you still have a physical body. You're opening up the fourth dimensional heart, you're opening up the fifth dimensional throat. You're getting more access into our universe, which is 12 dimensional and beyond. So what we are doing is you're opening gateways or portals at each chakra as you move up and clear to the higher dimensional access. And so that's how it was for me. It wasn't instantaneous. My higher mind got it, but the rest of me didn't. And that's where the work came in, where I had to get in and get myself free so the full body could experience the fifth dimensional energies. Good question. Okay, so Lydia asked, what's the best thing to clear the lower chakra sludge? It's the vortex. The vortex, if you think about it, you are getting in there and you're like a roto-rooter. You're getting in there and you're spinning this stuff out. And I'll show you how to do that in the demonstration, because this is, in a way, holding on. And when you're in gravity, when you're in that clockwise compression, it's going to really be stuck. It's very hard to move our consciousness. It's very hard to move our energy when we're in the gravitational lockdown of times. This is why we want to go anti-clockwise, opening up the energy field so that we're able to unlock the compression. And this, you just focus on where you're feeling that emotion, or you're feeling heavy, or you're feeling like you can't move, you're locked in. You just focus. Use this again, we're using that right brain. You just focus on it and you command the vortex and blow it out. And this way then you're getting in there and you are clearing very accelerated. This is what normally would take lifetimes to get free of. We're going to get in there and you can do it in hours, days, weeks, months. You are pushing this stuff clean. And one of the beauty of using the vortex is you don't have to re-experience the emotional pain that's stored there that you are clearing. You don't have to re-experience the trauma. You could be aware of it. You could be aware that, wow, this happened when I was a child and it really scared me and I'm moving that fear out. But you don't have to actually re-experience the trauma. You're just using, again, your right brain, locking on the energy and just bringing in loving forgiveness and compassion for yourself and for others, and you are liberating yourself from that sludge. So what I found is we take the vortex two ways. You can spin outwards, so you can start to actually blow this energy back to source light so it can be transmuted, or you can use it and pull inwards and pull more soul down into the body. And so we're going to do both movements, outwards and inwards. We're training ourselves to use our energy now vertically up and down our channel, no longer going horizontally out to get energy from others or from the collective. And this is where people are constantly complaining that they're empathing all of this garbage out in the collective. They're pulling in their friends and family's energies, and we don't want to be using our energy horizontally anymore at all. We want to start working with our channel, going vertically up and down and sourcing ourselves with that torus now. from Valerie. For an individual totally new to this idea, is there a prerequisite needed before such an incredible transformation? No, you just need to have the desire. You just need to be open. Of course, the ego is going to try to stop this. That's the problem with the ego. It doesn't like change. It doesn't want us to evolve, because when we evolve and grow, our soul starts to take over the life, and the ego wants to keep control of the life. So you could experience some ego resistance to the change that's happening. I still get ego resistance, and I've been doing this for 20 years, so this is very normal. But what I found is over time, as you keep bringing more of your soul light in, the ego gets less and less and less. So it's very rare that it comes in and it blocks me. But when it does, I'm very knowledgeable now of, oh, okay, here we go. I feel some fear. I feel the ego trying to stop this. And I just move that energy of the resistance into the beautiful light that's streaming in of my soul, and it just dissolves away. So this way then you have the tools and the knowledge to handle any time that you might feel some kind of sabotage from the ego. But no, anybody and everybody can start. This could be the first day you start, and all you need to do is have the desire, the willingness, and it does take practice. You do have to keep doing it. Like I said, it becomes a part of your daily routine, because you are able to now step in and say, okay, I'm going to take care of this. I'm empowering myself to shift my life. I'm empowering myself to break free of anywhere I felt blocked in my life. And you have the tools to do it. And that's really my goal, is to be able to have this be present and out into the world so people can use it. This is to help you really start to feel that you now are creating your life. You're not passively having this life just hit you. You are now stepping into the driver's seat, and you can start to shift your life in ways that we never knew were possible once you get in. One of the other things too I found, by just spinning in this vortex every day, what it was doing was, like I said, it's opening up to more dimensional experience. So my mind was able to start to comprehend knowledge that I never knew before. So it's opening up your mental capacity to be able to grasp knowledge that is not even something that you may have been taught. And so that's what's happening. Like when I first started working with the vortex, it was very much just doing it blindly and intuitively and instinctually. I had no idea what I was doing. I have to tell you that. My human self, no idea what I was doing. This is where I had the soul come in during that earthquake, Kundalini activation, and my soul says, okay, we are going to now do energy healing, and we're now going to use this vortex to do it. And I had no idea how that was to be. So what I found is I went from more of the right brain intuition going into this process, but over time, I gained the knowledge of the quantum physics, and for the left brain, understanding my access to the higher knowledge keeps opening every year. More and more understanding comes in. So that's what keeps me motivated to keep doing this, because you are constantly being able to evolve more and more of your potential. It's a pretty amazing process to be in. So everyone can start today. I have a question from Nancy. What's your email? You can contact me at my website. It's support@newearthcentral.com. I can type this in too for the chat room. support@newearthcentral.com. And when you signed up for the free download, you'll also get onto my newsletter list. So you can start to get, every week or so, I send out some newsletter comment of what's happening in the Ascension process and what we can work on, and also events that are happening. So that would be another way to stay connected in. Okay, question from Han. How any psychic attack can happen to anybody? Okay, so let's talk about what is a psychic attack. We have here in our energy field, we have the 3 dimensions, height, width, depth. Those are our 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension is the astral plane. The 4th dimension is right around the outer layer of your body. That's the 4th dimension. It's called the astral plane. And this is where the battle's going on. This is where we have light and dark fighting out, and this is where astral entities are attacking. This could also be where you're connected with someone whose ego is using their own psychic abilities, and they're attacking you on the astral plane. This happens to me a lot. So what I found over the earlier years of working with this technique, that I was actually getting quite sick because I was having so many psychic attacks. I would have ingesting all this energy from the astral plane because my chakras were pointed out horizontally, and I was empathing it. And so I really had to learn through trial and error how to contain my energy field. And so I kept asking Metatron, well, what am I doing wrong here? What do I need to do to be able to feel safe and not be under attack and to be able to maintain my health? And so what we do is we create what looks like an energy orb or a ball of light around the outer boundary of the aura. And this operates in multiple ways. It's containing your light body Merkaba inside. It's containing your life force inside, so it's not draining out. It also prevents then others from hooking into your chakra pillar and like with feeder lines to try to take and live on your light, your life force. And it also creates, in a sense, a personal boundary in the astral plane to prevent astral attacks and entity attacks. And so this is something that I do, like I mentioned in the morning. I always ground my feet chakras, my feet magnets onto the crystal grid, and I use my right brain visioning and my intention, and I visualize that orb of light around my aura in the morning and before I go to bed at night. I also wash my aura in either a shower or a bath every night before I go to sleep. So it requires having an awareness that there is so much happening on the astral plane that is not cool, and it is causing us to have emotions that we would probably never have. We could have physical disease from it. This is where we need to, it's kind of like energy etiquette. We need to learn energy etiquette and have energy hygiene and be able to contain our aura in a very protective space. And when I first started doing this, it was kind of like a conundrum to my mind, because I'm thinking, well, aren't we supposed to be going into oneness? You know, isn't that what the 5th dimension is, where we're expanding and reuniting back with the universe and coming into oneness? But it was explained to me that as long as we are in a physical body in this astral plane, this lower 3D, 4D body needs to be in its own boundaries. It needs to be contained in its own private space. But then once we work our way up the chakra and we're going up into the higher dimensions of spirit, of the divine, then we can go into the expansion with the universe, and we can go into the oneness. And so we're going to do that in the demonstration as well, being able to go up and out and into the just really letting yourself go and blend into the oneness with the Godhead, with the divine universe. But down here in the 3D, 4D realm, you need to have a container. Okay, I think what I'd like to do is do the demonstration. Let's go ahead and walk through the steps of the vortex activation so you can get a sense of it. And then if we have any time left, we can take some more questions, okay? Okay, so I always start the activations with setting up my sacred space, just for the very reason that I was just talking about. When we are opening up our crown portal, we want to make sure we're in our container. We want to make sure we're in our sacred space so that we are not experiencing any kind of interference. So first, let's go ahead and get grounded. So we're going to use left, right brain together, okay? So left brain, you're going to actually see your feet are getting onto the planet. You're getting onto Gaia. You're locking your feet onto the ground. Does not matter if you're on the 22nd floor or you're on the first floor. You are grounding to the planet. And then the second step, you're going to use your right brain now to lock your feet and your energy field onto the crystalline grid of the new earth. And this is the grid that I mentioned. It is formed as the flower of life all around the planet. And you can join me here at Mount Shasta if you like and ground onto the crystal grid. This is a sacred site. There's many sacred sites. There's the Pyramid of Giza, Machu Picchu, there's Glastonbury, Stonehenge. There's lots of sites you can lock onto. You can't make a mistake. Wherever you're drawn to, just go to it. And so as we're locking in, let's take a couple slow deep breaths, and we're beginning to move the life force into the lungs and into the heart center by paying attention to your breath and paying now inward. We're going to tune our focus away from the outside world. We're going to go inwards, into the heart, into the chest. And by doing this, we're now moving away from the left brain ego mind. We're moving away from the thinking mind of time. We're now going to move into the heart, into the breath of no time, starting to get into the now moment. So as we breathe in, we connect to Divine Mother, Divine Father, our Source Creator. Breathe into the heart. We're connecting to our own divinity, our I Am presence. Breathing into the heart, we're connecting to our own spirit team, our soul group, our soul family, all the Galactic Federation and light beings, about avatars and archangels, all who are supporting us in our ascension. And then finally, as we're grounding with our feet onto Gaia, we're connecting with Mother Nature and the nature kingdoms, the nature spirits, the crystal kingdom, animal kingdom, and we're breathing in the elementals. So these are the elements of alchemy, of air and fire, water and earth, and the fifth element of ether. Breathing into the body and into the aura. All the way in, and then we're going to contain the aura around the outer boundaries, crystalline shields of light all around in an orb shape all around the outer boundary, and it grounds with your feet onto your grounding platform. Our grounding platform is the base of our aura as we connect to earth. There we go. Good, strong shield of light. And then now let's go ahead and open up the vortex. And so I'm going to embed Metatron's cube, sacred geometry, under your feet in your grounding platform. It's going to start to activate and open up as 12 pillars of light rising up and around the body, all the way up. And they're working like tuning forks. And so these pillars of light are going to start to tune into the body the 12 sound waves of the 12 dimensions. We call these the phi harmonics, and as they're toning the body with these 12 sound waves, you may want to chant in your mind or out loud. We hear this with our human ear as the Om tones. And so as we're starting to tone into the body, into the aura, those pillars of light begin to spin. And they're starting to spin right to left around the body in a counterclockwise movement, right to left, all the way around, right to left. They're also spinning faster and faster towards the speed of light. They're also opening up like a V shape up from the feet and creating a vortex of white light. Whew, there they go, spinning up faster and faster. It's spinning around your orb. So it's enwrapping around your entire unified field. And as it's spinning up and it's accelerating, you can even imagine all the little atoms spinning counterclockwise as well. All the little orbs, all your atoms, there we go, spin them up. This is how we start to increase our frequency. Whew, faster and faster. Good, there we go, we got a good boost. So as this is spinning up, it starts to create an inward spiral as well, up our chakra pillar, up our channel. Starts at the feet, goes up to the root, and then starts to spiral right up your pillar, counterclockwise spin. Let's go up. We're going to follow it up, all the way up the body, up to the crown. Keep going higher above the crown. We're going to go up to the 5 astral chakras. You're still in your pillar. And you're going to go up at least 6 feet above the head, spiraling up, up, up. There we go, all the way up. Whew. And as this is spiraling up, we're going to the top of the chakra pillar, to the 12th chakra. And at this point is where we begin to connect to our higher self, our higher, wiser self. Whew. And I always see it as this big, grand light being, our higher, wiser self. I always make a heart-to-heart connection with my higher self. Our higher self is acting like our gatekeeper here. It prevents any kind of interference from coming in. It only allows in our soul guidance, our soul light. So our higher self is going to escort us now into the 13th dimension and higher. We're going to go through a crystal stargate portal and go into the vast sea of light that is the Godhead. We're starting to let go of the physical particle field of our material world. Just let go of the physical world for a minute, and we're going to start to shift into becoming energy waves of light. There we go. We're just shifting, and it's in here that we begin to expand and disperse and start to blend with the Godhead. We're blending into this quantum field of virtual particles. These are electrons that are popping. They're very alive and vibrant. It looks to me like sunlight shimmering on water. It's very dancing, shimmering, alive field of light. Whew, and there we go. We're starting to disperse in and blend in. And I just encourage you to just expand and connect to all that is in the quantum field. Whew, all possibilities, all unmanifested energy here. It's pure light. And as we're spinning and we're blending, we're able to connect now to our soul presence in the Godhead. Each and every one of us has our own unique energy signature, our own soul vibration. And so we're spinning, still the vortex spinning. We're going to connect to our soul presence in the Godhead through our energy signature, through our soul vibration. Start to pull the soul light to us to come back down the pillar. Everything's light here, so it's all coming in as light. Stream of soul light comes down the channel, down the chakra pillar, comes into the body, into the heart center. Our heart center is the main hub of our energy body. So you start to fill the heart with this divine love of the soul presence. I would see it like kind of like an upward facing bucket. You're just filling your heart up. Breathe it in, call it in, spin it in. Fill the heart with this soul love, soul nourishment, soul mastery, soul wisdom, soul presence. This is light. There we go. Let that heart fill with light. And as you're breathing it in, you can take it deeper down and into the human self, into the inner child, into the heart of the human self. Really filling in where you have felt deprived or empty or lonely or broken. Fill in with the soul's nourishing light and love. Ooh, that goes. It comes in deep in. Ooh, breathe it in. Call it in. And as we're breathing in the soul presence, the soul divine light presence, let's also call in from the quantum field all the resources that match our soul signature. So this is all of the contacts and financial support. This is your money flow. You start to call in all the support. This could be support from family and friends and workmates. Start to bring in the resources, the supports. This again comes in as light. It's coded to match your soul purpose, your soul service, your soul's joy. Breathe it in, call it in, and fill that heart. There we go. Bring in that support. It's also support coming in from your soul family, from Divine Mother, Father, Source. Breathe it in. Whew. And as this comes in, let your heart just start to fill where it's even beyond the edge of your body. It's forming that big golden sun. Whew. And it's starting to circulate out and into that Taurus swirl. Filling, 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 where it's just overflowing and circulating out and then flowing back in. And so this is how we're starting to activate our Taurus vortex. Well, now we're going to use the figure 8 infinity sign to balance and release polarity. So we're just going to keep letting the light of soul presence come in. Let the support come in. Keep filling you. Now we're going to add an infinity golden figure 8 right at your center of gravity. This is between our solar plexus and our heart, so it's right above the navel and the upper belly. We're going to run the figure 8 flat parallel to the floor. We're going to start to run it left around our feminine energy and then looping over to the right around our masculine energy. And this figure eight is actually weaving back and forth, left and right, right and left. And as it's weaving between the opposites in our energy field, we're going to start to flip our energy into the center fulcrum point of our figure eight. Flip it all in, and then it begins to blend and unite and balance, and as it overlaps, it starts to cancel out the polarized charge. And there we go. It starts to release out of the heart, out of the body, out of the solar plexus, out of the cells. And this could be fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, blame, anything and everything. Start to release out that polarized energy. Good. And the vortex will spin it back out. It sends it right back to source light. So we're doing a clearing right now. We're clearing out the toxic sludge. We're clearing out the polarized charge. Let's add the second figure eight at the brain. Left brain, right brain, left brain, flat parallel to the floor. It's looping around. And as it's looping back and forth, weaving back and forth, let's flip our mental energy into the center fulcrum. There it goes in, starts to balance and unite and blend and also cancel out any mental polarized charge. Good, there it goes, lifting up and out. Breathe it out, spin it out, command it out. This could be, again, OCD, it could be insecurities, it could be sabotaging, patterning, or belief systems, fear, anxiety. Call it out. And as this energy is spinning off, the vortex spins it back to source light so it can be transmuted. We're not just spewing this in the astral plane. We're actually keeping it clean here. And as it's releasing, our own beautiful divine golden white soul light, our soul presence is filling in the places we're clearing. And this is how we convert over to being the soul, the divine human. Okay, so we're going to keep running our figure eights. Now, one last thing. Tune back inside into the heart and the mind. We're going to run one more infinity figure eight, and this one's going to run up and down vertically around the heart, then up to the mind brain, then back down to the heart. We want to bring the heart and mind into balance and coherence. There we go, running. Starting to release some discordant energies, starting to sync up our heart and our mind. There we go. As if you could imagine like a swinging crystal pendulum in your heart and in your mind, we're going to bring them into still point, stillness. There we go. And this is how we build coherence in the body, in the heart, in the mind. It's inner stillness. It's a neutral vacuum state of singularity in the heart and in the mind. And it's in this space that we can start to bring the soul to come down and fill into the body. Whereas if your soul light is filling into your legs and your arms and your body cavity, sitting into your hips, bringing your divine soul presence in. There we go. Beautiful. Locking in. And our legs and feet ground this to our grounding platform. So it stays in and it feeds us inside. It strengthens us. It really provides soul resilience, soul strength, soul power, soul courage, soul confidence. It's authentic power. So as this is spinning in, grounding in, anchoring in, let's also do some cleanup work on our chakras. So we're using the vortex. You're bringing more of your soul light now down into those lower three chakras. And that's what we want. We want to clean out the sludge and bring the soul light in to replace it. So let's focus on those lower three chakras. And we're going to use the vortex. I'm going to create that, more of an inner spin right in those lower chakras. And let's just concentrate on moving out any trapped or stuck emotional pain or trauma. Any kind of attack memory, attack energy, or abuse. Let's just keep using the vortex. There we go. We're starting to focus in on these lower human chakras. Anywhere that you have had any pain or suffering or abuse in the past, we're just going to call it up and return it home to Source Creator. And so it's kind of like you're digging in and you're scooping it up and we're spinning it out. We're giving it permission to let go. We're even we're detaching even any emotional attachment to the past. Emotional attachment. Help the ego, help the human self let go of any emotional attachment to anything that may have felt that it was wrong or it harmed you. Let's just go into acceptance and forgiveness and allowance, and bring in the violet light of Saint Germain to come down and into our hearts, into our human heart where we have felt wronged, and really go into more of that forgiveness for ourselves and for others who have wronged us. You just move the pain into the violet light and spin it out. We are decomposing it, we are diluting it, we are dissolving it in the light. Ooh, there you go. We are giving ourselves permission to be done with the past. We're setting ourselves free from the past earth history of living in the matrix of duality. We're setting ourselves free from living in separation. We are letting go of the past, even any cord attachments to the past. We're setting ourselves free. Good. We're also going to pull out any cord attachments that have gotten into our chakras from our partners, our families, our friends, or astral entities. And so now, again, using the vortex inside, we're spinning from the inside outwards. You're pushing it out, spinning it out. Any energy that is not your soul signature, any presence that has gotten in from the external collective field, any astral entities that are locked in, corded into your light, anyone from your family, friends, partners that are feeding on your light, we're starting to reverse those cord attachments out. Whew, spin them out, command them out. There we go. Whew, start to release them. Out, out, out. And then we bring our beautiful soul's loving light presence in to replace, and we're sealing up our light body inside to the outside astral plane, really contained. Good. We're also moving out other people's will, their ego will, pushing in on our solar plexus. Our solar plexus is our power center. Our solar plexus should be filled with our soul's divine will. And so we're moving the ego will out, spin it out, escort it out, command it out from the solar plexus, back out. Good. No one's ego will is allowed in here. This is your sacred, divine, sovereign space. And now let's go up to the brain and up into the mind. We're going to now do a clearing of any mind control programming, any ET implants, any kind of tags or tracking devices or psychic attacks. We're commanding these out. Anything that does not match the soul signature, the soul frequency, we spin out now, command it out. Good, out, spin it off, and we send this all back to source light to be transmuted. And as we are doing this clearing, we're continuing to fill in. Just imagine your soul light coming down and into the pineal crystal and into the brain waves, into the neural pathways in the brain. You are claiming this as your sovereign domain. So let's mark our minds, our hearts, our bodies with our soul signature, our soul symbol, our soul mandala, our fingerprint, our soul imprint. Claiming this as our sovereign sacred space. There you go. Grounding in, grounding in. We're spinning this in to take hold. It's rippling through every cell, the RNA taking your soul symbol and moving it into the nucleus of every cell. This is my sacred space. This is my domain. And I'm containing it with my auric shield, my orb of light. And I'm helping my human self feel safe in my inner light chamber. So let's call our human psyche, our human aspect, our human self, our inner child back inside into this beautiful light chamber with the soul, with the loving soul presence, as if you're bringing your human self into the soul's arms and they're connecting heart to heart in a loving embrace of union. Beautiful. Just let the love of the soul pour into your human's heart. Breathe it in, filling, nourishing yourself. Becoming whole, complete beings again. And as we're clearing out the sludge, we're clearing out the trauma, we're clearing out the emotional toxic energy, everything is lightening up. We're increasing our frequency. We're letting the spirit light flow up and down our body. We're receiving the abundance coming down in this quantum flow down our chakra pillar and into our hearts. Breathing in all that you need, feeding into your heart. And then it stays in here, stays contained, gets into your heart magnetism. Your heart's magnetic field will draw it in. Okay, so we're starting to ground in and lock in all that we're doing. Our feet are anchoring it in, spiraling very fast. We're bringing in all the activations, all the healings, clearings to ground into the physical body, down and into the physical cells. All the way down into the atoms in the cells. Spin it in, ground it in. And as this is locking in, you can tap on your arms, you can tap on your legs as you're starting to come into a very, very rooted, grounded union here. So like you're sitting into your hips and your feet are on the floor. You're really feeling the physical expression of the divine, the physical flow of spirit. Grounding it in. And we want to thank Spirit for all their love and their support. And that concludes our activations for today. And you can just stay in the spin and let it continue to work with you through the day. And if this is something that you really resonate with, I encourage you to sign up and get the free download. And you can work with it on your own anytime and get really practiced with it. It will transform your life. And if you have any last minute questions here, I can answer them, Peter. Okay, question from Marie. Okay, so your question is, let's see, how do I see what I'm doing on the astral or remember my travels? First thing, I'd like to caution anyone who is doing any kind of astral travel to always stay in your chakra pillar and travel up and down your channel with the higher self. Otherwise, what's happening is we're getting tagged when we astral travel with all of these ET implants and tagging devices and tracking devices. So first and foremost, stay in your chakra pillar as you are opening up and traveling into the higher dimensions. This is possibly why you might be feeling fatigued. You want to be able to stay in your container when you are connecting to the higher dimensions and working in the astral plane. Let's see here. If for what I believe is happening with the visiting souls who have come here from other star systems, so my soul is from the angelic realm, and there's many souls who are here from other star systems in parallel universes. We're here to help the human souls to evolve. We're here to help Gaia evolve and go into the fifth dimension. And so our souls are working 24/7 in these higher dimensions. Even if our human self isn't quite aware of all that's going on, what I found is to help me be more proactive and involved with what the soul is doing. I do meditation every day. I meditate with the vortex, and that has opened up my channel so that I can be able to start to use my third eye, which is sixth dimension. My crown is seventh dimension. You start to get into these higher dimensions where you can consciously see through your inner mind. That's the right brain, using that right brain, using the inner mind to be able to see what the soul is doing. There'd be times where I wake up in the middle of the night and I clear as day saw that my soul was spinning the planet in the vortex and helping to elevate up the whole planet into the higher frequencies. So there's all kinds of stuff. I would wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and I'd be in the center of a volcano and we were stabilizing volcanic eruptions or earthquakes. So there's a lot that our souls are doing that is actually quite profound and incredibly helpful here. So I would continue to work on getting into the still point. We can't access the quantum field when we're in that polarity, when we're in the battle there between the opposites. We have to get into the still point, into that neutral space, so that we can open up our awareness and our higher third eye and be able to see what the soul's doing and start working with the soul consciously. Okay, question from Han. Are all ET implants negative, or can they be positive tools for the individual's spiritual growth? That's an interesting question. I personally feel that I only want my own soul DNA to come in to my energy field, so that I'm bringing in my soul blueprint and bringing in my soul lineage and activating it in my crystalline light body. So far, all I have found are much lower frequency ET implants, and so I clear them out. If it's part of your life path to work with an ET, I can't speak for that. That's not been my path. My path is to work with the avatar souls who are doing the ascension, and to really be hyper alert on not allowing any implants that are lower than 12th dimensional frequency. So far in the 20 years I've been working with clients, I've yet to find a positive ET implant, I have to say. I only bring in the divine soul codes and blueprint to keep it clean. So Priya is struggling to visualize the counterclockwise spinning. Is it just more about practice? Kind of think about it as if you're like in a soup can. It's spinning around your body, and if your mind is having trouble visualizing, you just continue to command it. When I first started doing this process, like I said, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't see a lot of it. My third eye, so that's sixth dimension, my third eye was not fully opened yet. I had to spin quite a few years to get that all opened up and be able to see very clearly what was happening. So I had to just trust it was happening, and I would get up and I would command the spin, and I would breathe and meditate, and over time I started to feel like my body was actually vibrating and rocking in the spin of the vortex, and eventually I could actually see it spinning around me. So don't get discouraged if you aren't getting a clear, strong visual on it. Just command it to spin up with Metatron's cube, and that will start to get it going. A lot of times people use my recorded activations on like their iPod to be able to have me code it and spin it up for them until they're getting at a place where they can run it on their own. So that's available in downloads to help you do it on your own and get you the practice. Any other questions? I know we're running out of time here. I think we're good. Thank you, Peter, for managing the chat room. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining in and just being present and being awake and being aware and seeking more knowledge. This is what we want happening all around the planet, and I'm just thrilled to be able to share this technology with you, and wishing you all the best in your personal ascension. And please contact me if you want any more information, you'd like more training. And if you're in Mount Shasta, please stop by my healing center. I have the Quantum Healing Center in Mount Shasta, and we do a lot of amazing events there as well. I do private sessions there as well as global meditations. We do a broadcast monthly of global meditations where we're intentioning our new earth. We're intentioning and birthing our new earth. So you're welcome to sign up for that as well. And please let me know ahead of time if you are planning to come into Mount Shasta, so that we can arrange something. During this very much a seasonal town because we get a lot of snow in the winter. But during the spring and summer, I do offer retreats and a lot of events going on during the spring and summer. Coming up actually in November, we have the 11/11 activation, which is an Ascension activation. We also have the 12/12 to 12/21 Stargate opening, and so I'm going to be doing events for both of those, and they will be live broadcasts that you can tune in from a webcast anywhere around the world. So those will be added to my website very soon. So there's lots happening, lots you can join in, and keep your progress moving. Yes, the free download is a 30-minute MP3 file download where I am walking you through the protocol steps to activate the vortex. And all you need to do is go to newearthcentral.com and sign into our newsletter. You'll see it right on the top there under my banner where you can put your name and your email, and that will send you in an email the download link and you can save that download to your iPod or to your computer and work with it on your own at newearthcentral.com. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this amazing experience. It's been just a blessing. And have an amazing, great day. Enjoy the rest of the show.